Good morning, everybody. This is Jeremy Estes, and I'm here with Mr. Jeremy Nickel.
Salutations.
And you're here for the double dose of Jeremy's. And our webinar for today is how to add a Facebook pixel to your bucket.io survey and your segmentation funnels. So we're going to dive into that shortly. Just real quick, Jeremy, if you could let me know if you guys can hear me okay, if you can see my screen, could we just get a quick mic check, please? If you can hear me, just say yes or see me. And Mr. Nickel, if you could just tell me if it's working out okay.
Yep, it is working out. Wait, Peter Hansen has no sound. Peter, I would check your configuration there, make sure that everything is good on your end. Looks like we have everyone else is able to hear, so just double check that. But yeah, otherwise we're good.
Okay, well, then let's go ahead and get started. Today's class, it's not going to be really that long. I mean, we're gonna go through the process of setting up your Facebook pixel, and then if you're having issues with it, you can always schedule a one-on-one appointment with a bucket specialist. You know, we can take another additional 15 minutes one-on-one on the phone with you, and kind of walk you through the process. Maybe if you need help just getting the pixel into a bucket, or some ideas in configuring the pixel. But the goal here, by the time you get off of this call, is you're going to know how to add the Facebook pixel to your bucket.io account. Okay, like that's the big thing. I'm not going to go real deep into using the pixel. I'm not going to get into any Facebook methodologies or anything like that on this call. But the main thing is to know what to do, how to use it, and then from there, you'll be set up to start building your audiences and tracking events for your Facebook pixel through your bucket funnels or your surveys. So with that said, the first thing you've got to do, obviously, when setting up your pixel and integrating, is actually connecting the pixel to your bucket.io account. All right, and it's real simple. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you where you do it inside of Bucket, and then we'll go in. I'll show you kind of. There's a few different ways to get it inside of Facebook. Again, you shouldn't have a lot of trouble if you have your Facebook Ads Manager or a business account set up. But I'll kind of point you in the direction of doing that.
Hey everyone, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but yeah, it looks like Jeremy has dropped off a little bit. Let me find out what's going on. I'll be back with you in just a second. Thank you, Zorn. Okay, cool. Let me double check and see what happened. Okay, it looks like yeah, Jeremy ran into some problems there with getting just some technical difficulties there. So bear with us just really quickly here, and I'm going to get my screen up and going here. These things definitely happen, as I'm sure you're all aware. So let's see here. Put it to myself. And Google Chrome. Okay, yeah, and at the replay, we'll be sending out some replay information. I believe actually GoToWebinar will be sending out some replay information anyway, but we'll also be sending a follow-up email to you. Okay. So can everyone hear? Well, for one, hear me, but also can you see my screen here? Perfect. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the login here. And let's just go kind of start from the beginning here. And when Jeremy gets back on, let's see. Okay, perfect. Once Jeremy gets back on, we'll let him take over. But, you know, it's a pretty straightforward process, actually, getting, you know, Facebook Pixel set up. And there are some variations between your discovery survey setup and segmentation funnel setup, which is all actually outlined in our, we have a new KBase article too. Under integrations. All right. In fact, there are a couple new ones, but first, how to integrate Facebook Pixel with Bucket. So we have, of course, the a video, and then just shows you basically how to set everything up here. Okay. I'm going to go back to the dashboard here, and we're going to go focus primarily on a segmentation funnel right now. Let's go to segment. I'm just going to pick one. All right. Let's go ahead and edit it. This is a copy of something that's already been pre-established. So we'll go ahead and go to the configure page on this. We're assuming, of course, that we have everything already pre-configured here. And we'll go to Facebook Pixel. All right, so let's turn, of course, this toggle here. And we're going to, the first step, of course, is just getting your pixel code. So, and I'm just going to, now this is where, of course, you're going to have to go to Facebook and dig up your Facebook pixel code. I didn't have this, apologies for, I wasn't counting on this crash here, but I know I'll be able to get there from here because I have plenty of times. Putting our pixel to work, let's create a new pixel. Of course, this is actually good if you're just starting off with creating a pixel. Then these are some of the steps you might need to go through anyway. So now, of course, this is already preloaded with some of my information that I had put in before, but there may be some extra sign-in steps that you'll have to take. Anyway, we'll go ahead and go to Setup Pixel. Now, for step one, you're just going to copy and paste the code. That's all. So go ahead and copy it, and it's very nice. All you have to do is click on copy to clipboard. It's copied. You don't have to do anything else right there, and you go back to right here, this page in your funnel, and enter it in. And it's as easy as that. Let's go ahead and just save the changes right now, just so we have that code saved in there. Let's see. Okay. Greg, I was trying to look at your question right now too, if there was something pressing, but let me try to pull that up. Oh, okay, yeah, tagging, most definitely. Okay, so here you can see we're on the configure page, and we have we can configure pixel events, right? For questions, it's going to be both the same for segmentation funnels and discovery surveys, where you can configure your pixel events around for your questions, definitely. For outcomes, it's going to be a little bit different. Just on the discovery survey, it's going to be a thank you page, and it's not going to be as robust because, of course, with the segmentation funnels, you can have multiple outcomes. So, for instance, let's check this out here. We have just a couple outcomes with this. And questions. So you're going to have all of your questions. Once you toggle both of those to the right, then you're going to have all available questions to configure and all available outcomes right here. And of course, it'll just be, depending on the discovery survey, you may have one, or maybe you will have more than one. Well, you'll probably just have the one thank you page, of course. So, and that's just going to be a little bit different, which I can show you too. But let's go ahead and first configure our pixel events for questions. Now with our questions, we're just going to keep it as view content, whereas it's going to be a little bit different with the configuring outcomes, because those are going to be lead captures. So you're going to be changing that over to lead. Okay? All right. So let's focus on the questions right now. So for example, we have we're going to keep this as view content, and of course, it's always good to have these little help buttons here. Select the event you'd like to associate with this question. Now, are you in for this year's Ask Method Masterclass? So I'm just going to put ask, and that'll work. And we'll give this a value of 1 for tracking purposes. Okay. And that automatically makes the slider just go to the right. All good right there. Okay, so second one here, also just keep it as view content. Yes, I'm in. I want my piece of that $200,000 price, which, wow, that sounds pretty good. And it makes me want to click on something. Anyway, so let's just make this 200 prize. However you want to label it, however you want to tag it, that makes sense for you. So it's just, just like it says right here, you're adding a parameter to further segment and target your user base. So let me backtrack a little bit and do some little bit of explanation about why you're doing all this, what's going on. So for instance, let's say that you have a segmentation funnel. Let's say that you even have a Facebook ad where someone has gone to seen your Facebook ad, and they go through your funnel, they're going through it, and they ask, let's say that your funnel has these questions, for whatever reason, and ask, are you in for this year's Ask Method Master class? And it'll be, a yes or no, right? So, and of course, actually, in this case, in or out. And so, if they're in, then let's say they answer that, then Facebook Pixel is going to take that into account, remember it, because they're already signed into Facebook, and it doesn't take all their private information. You don't have to worry about that, but it does allow you to retarget based on their answers. So this may not even be the best example. And Jeremy may have, I think he probably, once he's back on, he probably has some better examples for you. I was just kind of flying to the next. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, no, I was listening to your wonderful voice. It was, I cannot believe it.
Excellent.
Like, literally shut down.
It happens. It does happen. Well, yeah, and I don't know if you had something better, so I can change it back over to you. But I thought, let's keep this going in the meantime.
Yeah, no, go ahead, man. There's a couple of questions that are popping up from Greg, but no, keep going. I think these are all good Q&A questions at the end. So Greg,
cool.
Your question, we're going to answer those specifically in the Q&A part.
Awesome. Cool. So what was I saying here? Yeah, so what's going to happen then is whatever the user answers. Let's say, for example, that you have some questions that ask, let's say instead of these questions right here, are you in for this year's math semester class? Let's say it's are you a man or a woman? And what age bracket are you? I'm aged, 20 to 35 or 40 to whatever. And Facebook Pixel, that information that they choose, it's going to go be routed back into this, the magical Facebook server there, and then you'll be able to retarget your ads on Facebook that'll be tailored and better suited to that user. You're not going to be putting something in, marketing something that would be beneficial for millennials to another age group, and vice versa. So it's kind of a cool thing because it doesn't take their private information, but it does know exactly, based on their answers that they give in your funnel, it knows where to go, what actually to target, And if let's say you have an ice cream business and they answer, oh, I definitely like chocolate ice cream, and that's it, then you'll be able to, well, that's great, I have a candy business and I sell ice cream too, and you'll be able to retarget based on those answers and focus on the great, yummy chocolate, as opposed to maybe someone else who says, I only eat vanilla, something like that. So hopefully that makes sense right there. And of course, you'll be able to configure like I said before, your outcomes. And you want to change that to lead, because this is your lead information. Once again, your tag is going to be your tag. Let's go L1, put the value of 1 right here, automatic slide, and then L2 right here, or even, let's make it even more relevant to this one, out 2, and this is in 1. Okay, perfect. And save your changes. Let's see what happens here. Oh, well, that's what happened right there. Let's go back to it. Okay, well, I guess this is just a technical difficulty day. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, excellent. Here we go. Let's go back to configure. Let's go to Facebook Pixel. Okay. Well, yeah, as you can see, my changes were not saved, but I think you get the general idea. And I wanted to show you anyway what the difference is between the segmentation funnels and the discovery surveys, because there's just a slight difference when you go to it. So let's see here. Let's edit this one. And yes, I do understand this is, of course, not an active, I mean, it's active, but it's not, we're not using it for anything. So let's go once again to configure and go over to Facebook Pixel, set it up, and remember, we want to copy that Facebook Pixel code, whoops, and go back over here, punch that in, and notice that right here it's just a little bit different. We have thank you page instead of outcome. No problem. And it's just going to show down here. Once again, you're going to change that to lead, whatever tag you want, whatever value, 1 probably makes sense right there. Okay. So that's the only difference, really. Otherwise, your questions, you're going to configure your questions in the exact same way. And of course, just with this one, it'll be a little bit more tailored to discovering more about your audience. So that's the difference right there. And Jeremy, am I missing anything with regard to setup? I mean, it's actually a pretty straightforward process. And once you publish it, this code right here, it's going to it's going to pull the data that your customers input there, your participants input. It's going to pull it, and It's going to be, allow you to retarget as necessary. So, Jeremy, I'll let you jump in. Let me know if there's anything you wanted to add to all of this.
No, man, I think you did great. Literally, it's super simple to set it up, right? From there, there's some Facebook stuff you need to. I mean, you'll want to know so that you're setting up your ads later, but that's kind of beyond the scope here. There are a couple of questions that have come up. I think it's a good segue into kind of the Q&A section. Again, I think, I mean, at this point, we know how to get the code, we know where to put it, we know the options, and I think now we can just kind of dive into a couple of the, some of the questions that are popping up, right, when people are going in to use it. Like for instance, Greg was asking the purpose of the tag, right, over here on when you're configuring the pixel events. And the purpose of the tag, just so you know, Greg, and everyone else, Jeremy, if you could scroll down just a little bit to look at the
You
tag.
got it. Yep.
So yeah, the purpose of the tag is to tell Facebook what question was being asked here, like what audience, what are you trying to do with this audience? So in this case, your biggest question about, what is it, the Ask Masterclass?
Yep.
So if you were to label this to retarget these people, you would say something to the effect, and this is a kind of a bad example here. What we're looking for, what we would want is like a good multiple choice. Like I don't really even for discovery tools. I mean, I would just say if they answer the question, maybe follow up with them with some remarketing. What I would more like to look at is the segmentation funnel. That's where most people are going to be using the Facebook integration. So if you could pop over to...
Yeah, let me pull up another account here, and I believe I have a good one where we have some better examples going on.
Yeah, because I think, like I said, most people are going to be using the segmentation funnels for their Facebook retargeting.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see if I have some. Okay. Yeah, this one should definitely have some better questions.
This is great because you've actually, I think you've got a branching logic on here, and it answers another question that we've got.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's a couple of things here. So let's scroll down a little bit and let's look at that first question. So what we've got here is the tag would be the the name that you're going to be using for Facebook to tell them what the audience will be, right? So in this case, you've got your which of these topics interest you the most? Science, philosophy, philanthropy, and film. So you would say something like, the tag would be something like interest science, interest philanthropy, interest film, right? That would be your tag. That way, when you're calling the event back up and you're labeling it in your Facebook ad manager, like this is the topic interest. Actually, I told you wrong. It would be interest would be the tag, and then whatever the choice is the value.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
I'm sorry. So it would be, like in this case, it would be interest would be the tag, and then value would be the choice.
Yep.
That way you can, and then to answer another question was, to be clear, do we need to set up, oh wait, hold on. Do we need to create a custom conversion in Facebook to correspond to what's happening here? So what you're doing in Facebook is you're going to be, it's not a custom conversion, it's a custom audience. And the way that you do that is I mean, it's the same way you create any other custom audience, but instead of choosing a URL, you're going to do a custom combination. In fact, Jeremy, if you want, let me see if you want to jump back over to your Facebook real quick. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but if we go over to if you go to instead of pixels, if you go to audiences.
Audiences.
Top left menu, like if you like right next to the app, yeah.
Yep. Audience insights, or no? Audience.
No. Yeah, audiences.
Yep.
And then create a custom audience, and then do it off of website traffic. And so instead of anyone who visits your website, click that.
Yep.
And then, yep, and then choose custom combination. So, and then instead of URL, well, okay, so you probably won't have it yet. What you're looking for here is you have the option to choose an event in most cases. If your pixel has fired before, yours may have not, this may not have fired before.
Right. Yeah, it hasn't.
So, and that's why we don't really want to get too deep here. But this is where you would go set that up. If your pixel is fired before, you would create the event. It would be instead of URL, it's event, and then that's where you would start configuring all these things that you're setting up here in your segmentation funnel. The problem, and Marina's saying, do dig deep. The problem is we don't want to turn this into a Facebook marketing course, right? Because we're good at Bucket, and I'm not saying we're not good at Facebook, but like first of all, the account isn't set up to really go deep, and we don't want you going in your account and obviously making changes based on something some bucket.io guy told you. What we really want you to understand, I get you, but what we really want you to understand is like how to make the two talk to each other inside of Bucket. And so this is where you'll be coming inside of your Facebook to set this up. Once you've set it up inside of your Bucket account. So Jeremy, if we could jump back over to the app real quick. So what we're doing here is for each answer, we're giving ourselves the opportunity to retarget the person based on the answer that they chose. Okay, and then somebody else asked, and I think it was Ed. Ed asked if this works with branching logic. And can the pixel tailor itself based on what someone specifically answered for several questions as opposed to just one at a time? So there's a yes and no. What Bucket is going to do is it's going to let you tell Facebook what audience that person is from. Inside of Facebook is where you can do all your custom combinations, exclude this person, add this one, add anyone who was this, who had this tag, and this tag, and don't show anybody who had this tag, and that tag. Another thing you can do, as Jeremy showed you earlier, Jeremy, if you scroll down a little bit to the outcomes, you can also, again, this is where you can also fire off the pixel on the outcome page, right? So you've got, if outcome 1 is based on the culmination and the multiple, if you use like a multiple outcome mapping for outcome 1, then you would know that everyone who hit outcome 1 is all these things. So then you could just put that tag on here on the outcome 1 page. So there's a couple of ways of doing it. The thing about each question is you're building the audience for each question each response, and then you can use that however you want to inside of Facebook. So, Greg, I have a great article actually for creating custom audiences. Let me see if I can dig that up, and I will. Hey, can you post a link in the chat and everybody can click on it? Jeremy, is that possible?
Yeah, you can. Yep. If you just go to chat, yeah, and it'll go to everyone.
Yeah, let me pull this up real quick. I've got and it's better. It's probably one of the better ones I've ever seen, and it's perfect for this because it actually goes in to talk about events. Let me pull this thing up for you guys. Sorry, I should have just had this one ready. It even talks about the Power Glove. Remember the Nintendo Power Glove? I'm gonna post this link
I
right
don't think I ever
now.
used the Power Glove.
I don't think anybody ever used the Power Glove. I think we saw there was that one movie where they had it, the wizard, about the kid who traveled across the world or the country to play video games at the tournament.
No, I never saw that. It sounds cool though.
It
Sounds like
was
a good blast from the past.
it's epic. All right, I'm gonna paste this. I'm gonna send it all. All right. So Ed says, just to clarify, do we need to add a tag or value name to the questions themselves, or only add it to the answer? So here's the thing: you can do both. You can do one that says that for just a question, you could say they answered that question, right? So if you have like a longer quiz, let's say, and you want to take them back to a certain spot in the quiz, then you could run your retargeting. Let's say you do it at the quiz answer level. Let's say, and then let's say you run your ads that take them back to maybe a different version of the quiz that starts at the next question. Again, that was kind of what I think some of the thought process behind it was to keep them moving through and answering more of your questions by giving you the ability to tag them at the question level. Otherwise, if you're just doing the simple retargeting based on what they said or what they chose, then you would just do it at the options, at the answers. Does that make sense, Ed? Cool. Perfect. Thanks. All right. Cool. So I sent that link out. It's a good read. It's a simple read. It takes about 5 minutes to read through, maybe a little bit more, but it'll show you kind of how to go around and navigate inside of your Facebook Ads Manager and how to use the pixel events, so that you'll have a better understanding of what's happening under the hood. And that's it. I think like I said, this is going to be. I mean, you're gonna end up playing with this a lot, and you're gonna what's gonna end up happening from people that I've talked to that are using this with a lot of traffic is they'll set it up the first time, and then they'll find different ways of playing with it, and so you can always come back in and change and make changes to what you set up in the beginning. So that's it, though. That's how you integrate your Facebook pixel with bucket.io. And I think Jeremy did a fantastic job, at least the part that I caught. And I'm sorry, guys, that my thing got cut off.
It happens. It happens. And Keith, to let you know, we are going to be making this available for you to rewatch just straight through the webinar, GoToMeeting webinar service that we have. And we'll be sending an email out to you as well. So,
Greg asked one of the question. So can you change the pixel settings without wiping existing data? Yeah, I think so. From what I've seen, is once you create like the tag name, the value name, and it fires that first time, it'll show up in your events manager. It'll show up forever, right? So you can always go back and and and, uh, and choose it later on. Even if you change it, the old stuff will still be there. You may have the option to delete it from your account uh, if things start getting cluttered and you don't need them anymore. But yeah, once it fires, it'll start showing in your list of audience events.
Awesome. Are there any other questions at this point in time? Oh, here we go. Greg?
Oh wait. Okay. I see what you're saying. So if you go in and edit the segmentation funnel, does it remove the stuff that you put into the Facebook pixel, like this screen? Like, does it wipe it out? That's actually a good question. I don't know. Let's give it a shot. Why don't we? Let's try it.
Let's see. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see
I
here.
honestly have never done it. So yeah, let's. I don't think it does, but let's find out. So you saved it.
All right. Yep.
Actually, yeah, let's do a publish on it real quick, because I think the only thing data that changes, I think, is the customer data. But let's publish it and then put a lead in, and then edit it. I get that. That's what I see you talking about, right, Greg? Okay, yeah, we're on the right track. So yeah, let's get this. Let's go put a lead in real quick, and then do an edit. See what happens. You guys are learning this with us real time. It's a good question though. I like getting stuff that I haven't seen before.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Okay, so which of these topics interest science? Go to a movie. All right, we know what. We'll go to that one, but that actually doesn't go anywhere. See, did I not put any lead information in here? But that should. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think I did on that one. Here, let's see though. Okay, so we do have a participant though showing up there.
So, Greg, the big thing is if you do edit the funnel that you do have up and running, it will erase whatever lead data or segmentation data that's come through the funnel. So that will happen if you edit without cloning. But as far as the pixel stuff,
intact.
It's intact.
Yep.
So yeah, so that won't change.
Nope. Perfect. Good to know. Great question.
Oh, okay. So he's asking, can we? Okay. So we were looking at it wrong. I was looking at the question wrong. He was asking, does it wipe the data that they've collected? And yeah, if you go in and edit, my brain just stopped working. If you go in and edit the funnel, it will wipe your collected data, the data that you've actually collected.
Yep.
So I thought you were asking if it would wipe the data that you put in the configuration for the pixel, but what you're asking is if it wipes the data that you've collected. So you're going to want to go ahead and clone the funnel, and publish it and use the new link. They're trying to figure out a way to make it to where you can make some back-end style changes and stuff like that. But as it goes now, I think once you edit it all, it wipes the data, because what it does is it creates such a huge problem if you make a change to your funnel. It's just something on the tech side.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
feature
No,
request.
definitely. They're definitely working on it, Greg. And I mean, it's something that's come up way more than one time. Um, and so so definitely be on the look for that. But like I said, for now, to start using the retargeting on it, you could just go in and do a clone, and then just start up a new set of ads with a new URL. All right, guys, is there any other questions? Thank you for joining us. So I'm gonna before I forget, I'm gonna put out the link for the one-on-one. Or actually, Jeremy, do you have that?
Yeah. Let me grab that really quick here.
We'll put out the link for the one-on-one call. If there's anything that you didn't get answered on this call, you can go ahead and schedule a one-on-one, and one of us or one of the bucket specialists will jump on the call with you and walk through your issue, and hopefully get that resolved in about 10-15 minutes on a call. If you've ever been on one before, it's real simple, real quick, and we work just to get you over at least that big hump, so that you can be up and running and getting conversions. So, yep. Did you already pay that?
Yep, I sure did. Yeah, cool. And I think just another one is just remember we do have this K-Base article that you can always reference to if you need to. How to integrate Facebook Pixel with Bucket and with bucket.io, and that's it. So, excellent.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining us on this call today, and we look forward to working with you.
All right, see y'all later.